Estate Chronicles, episode 57. So today we are going to talk about some of those items that have been long forgotten, closed up in barns, but now that you're having an auction and you're getting ready to liquidate, these are some important things to possibly look for or to keep in mind. These items I'm talking about are from the early industrial age. We're talking the 18th and 19th century, and some may even date even further back than that, but we call them primitives within our auction company, and these are things that we commonly come across when we are liquidating estates. It was the old farm place that's now being divided up, those kinds of things. So the main items I'm going to talk with you about today, because they're some of the most commonly seen ones we have, is clay pottery. Around here, Marshall Pottery is very popular, but there's other pottery companies. And when I talk about pottery, I'm talking about like the churns and the like the big clay. They're like big clay vessels, stoneware. Think big, right? Where they would pickle things or whatnot. So large stoneware items. We're going to talk about anvils, and we are also going to talk about cast iron kettles. So these items are old and they've seen some time, but if you find yourself with a kettle that doesn't have any cracks in it, it's still whole, that is going to allow it to bring more money. There's people who still use them for a variety of reasons, but if that kettle is whole, without a crack, without a blemish, and even if it did have a blemish but now has a weld, there's a market for it. But if it's whole without having to repair it, it's going to be worth more. And that's the same goes for an anvil. An anvil, for some of you may not even know what that is, but farriers, horseshoers use them now. It was used for metal work, and they come in a variety of shapes and sizes. Most of them are come over from England, but they've come over from other places. Here are things that I think are important, because a lot of times in the cleanup process, there are tools that typically go with an anvil that sometimes get misplaced or lost. And I bring this up. Anvils have value with or without them. Same thing. If they're whole, if they've been broken and rewelded, you're not going to get the same kind of value that you would get. I mean, and we've sold anvils for over $1,000, but there's certain things that are important to be able to get that, besides the marketing, which is how descriptive is the anvil? Does it have the maker on there? Does it have the numbers that identify the size? But then going back, one of the reasons I bring this up are there are tools, and most people, if that tool is not like sitting in the anvil or around the anvil, you're not going to know that it belongs to it, and easily in those cases it can get knocked on the ground, and if you're cleaning up, you can throw it away. So that's one of the things. They're very small tools that fit in crevices. We came across one that had that tool and several others right around it. And so those are just things to keep in mind if you have those items within your estate. And the last item that we see a lot of in our area are the clay vessels, the churns, the stoneware. Marshall Pottery is a really popular one here, but there are others. And some of the things to keep in mind there is a lot of times back then there were these really large ones that people used for pickling items and different things. And it's harder to find the large ones without any blemishes or without any cracks or without any chips. Again, can you sell them if they have that? Yes, they're not trash if they have a crack in it. But if you have one that has been well preserved, you don't have cracks in the pottery, or you have the lid that goes with it, it's going to be valued higher. If it's marked, it's going to be valued higher. But both of those items, whether it's the cast iron kettle or the stoneware, a lot of people do buy those for decorative purposes now, But again, the more whole and more solid it is, the more value it holds. And, you know, with all of it, the kettles, the anvils, the pottery, the larger the item, the more value it holds.